We don't agree on many things, but we are able to go back to what is right.
It's also worked the other way around. And I know my temperament has changed considerably since I've started thinking of dance more than just a hobby or an art. This is one of the tenets of second chance, isn't it? That you dance for yourself, or you sing for yourself, or you do anything, you paint for yourself, you write for yourself. And we, as I think culturally, it's been ingrained in us that, after you have a family, when you have a responsible job, that's life. And we are not saying that is wrong. We're certainly not saying that is wrong. But I think, well, it's actually okay to do things for ourselves.
Exactly.
When the joy and the self-satisfaction it brings, A, you can't put a price on it. And B, you just end up being that, a self-satisfied person who doesn't need to do things to impress others or to get a chance to perform somewhere. The joy, the actual joy of doing something, anything for yourself is what drove second chances, what still drives second chance. In fact, I think I've become more caring, more understanding, and even at work, I'm able to calm down quicker in situations which normally would have swept me off. I think dance has been that balancing factor for me. So it's beyond, yes, of course, stage and lights and green room and rehearsals are great, but that is just temporary. That's the adrenaline. But I think it's definitely changed our personalities, and I see it in you as well.
Really, I think what you said is absolutely right. I have got two grown up boys, and they see this as, mom achieving something. They take pride in it, and they can also relate to it, and they know that they also can have a second chance. If it hasn't happened right the first time, it doesn't matter. They can grab it one more time. There is always another chance.
Isn't that so important, Gayatri? I think the kind of pressures our children are these days, especially, I think we were lucky that we didn't have social media when we were growing up. Social media is only one of the pressures, but the kind of pressures kids are nowadays under, and the number of classes and, everything from every sport to every art, both Western and Indian, and then in the name of introducing them to the Indian culture, it's too much. It's too much. It's interesting again because you have two sort of grown-up boys, and I definitely have kids. So the effect we have on them, I mean, my kids are too young to understand about second chance. I hope they don't start off by thinking second chance is okay. But doesn't the culture and all that happen? They see mom practicing, we sing shlokas together. So I don't have to drill it into them. It's happening very organically in our house.
Yeah.
The discipline has been inculcated. They know if mom is in a certain place in certain clothes, that is her rehearsal time and we shouldn't disturb. Adya is 2 and she knows that. They take an interest in our mythology. Pranav was 3 when I did my Arangetram, and he was so interested in Krishna stories and Ganesha stories. So I didn't have to go out of my way to doing it. And because I do my 1 hour of rehearsal or whatever, I'm happy with that. So I can actually attend to them better. And like you said, it's at the stage your kids are in. Ashwin, Pranav is actually on the threshold to choosing a career, and I'm sure he'll give his best shot at it because A, he is such a driven person, B, he has parents who are so driven, but I think he also knows that he has the support of his parents. Touch wood, should something not go his way, I don't think he will be one of those who thinks that the sky has fallen on his head. And it is so important because now I don't see the tendency for all parents wanting their kids to be child prodigies. I mean, child prodigies are born,
Yeah, it isn't, yeah.
All prodigies because they're born with some innate talent, and to finish everything by the age of 12, and then concentrate on studies.
Yeah.
Any of those arts you've taken up. It is such a misfortune.
No, I think, see, we in my household, as I started Arangetram training is when the boys picked up their equipment and instrument to train on. So it's a parallel journey, and I think that's what they realized. It's more art at that point was for me, one place where I forgot all of my work pressures, everything. I would just leave everything and enjoy myself in that zone. And they realized that's what they need. So they play the piano, they play the flute, but they do it as a complementary thing that breaks their stress, which I think is a better approach to art rather than let me get through the grade exams.
Tell me, it's interesting because you brought so many dimensions. If you had a second chance to do it all over again, would you do anything differently?
Yes. I would pick up studies, I would do my PhD, and I would change my profession completely to something else. I would be teaching at university. It will happen with the boys. When the boys go to university, I'm waiting for them to leave. I'll start off with my master's.
Teaching dance or?
No.
Okay, being an academic.
Being an academic, because I like languages. Languages and history is my favorite. So I would completely maybe move out of engineering into something completely different.
And where would that?
We'll have to wait and see. I'm just researching what is available out here.
What I also wanted to know was if you could go back in time and change things, then would you do?
There would be so many things. I would have put my foot down, continued dance. I gave up Veena. I would pick it back up again and start off where I left. Maybe that's one of the instruments I absolutely loved. And I think, maybe learn to cook better. That would be one of it.
Would you have taken dance on a professional level?
Maybe, but my love for chemistry is more than my love for dance. So I would have still gone to do chemical engineering. I dreamt of being a chemical engineer when I was 5 years old. Since I was 5, I kept saying to everybody that I was going to become a chemical engineer. Nobody took me seriously, but that's what I ended up doing.
5, I didn't know there was something called chemistry.
No, all I knew was I was looking at the water towers of a fertilizer plant. It was so fascinating, the water towers and the huge the crystallization columns and things like that. They were fascinating. I would spend hours, but people would go to the beach and look into the sea and play, but I would sit down in a corner and stare at these large equipments, and that's where I wanted to be. I decided.
Okay.
So what would you have done if you went back in time? Would you have picked up dance as a career?
No. I wouldn't have picked up dance as a career, but I can very easily say that now, knowing what dance has to offer me. For me, if I pick something up as a career, it will take a lot out of me than me getting out of it, right? So I am able to enjoy dance because it is not my profession. The moment you fall into that, and this is just my opinion, and the moment I fall into that remit of the additional responsibilities which come with taking on something as a profession, I feel very bound. And you have a duty of, almost a duty of candor towards that profession, isn't it? And to me, something like dance or even composing is a liberating thing for me.
Exactly.
Right? So the moment I have things that I have to abide by, it becomes, there is a conflict there.
Hmm.
Having said that, and again, going back to the age of 5, I was 6 when I thought I have to be a doctor. Why, I don't know. We have no doctors in our family, so I don't know why. The only thing I would change, it's actually worked out very well for me, thank God, and I count my blessings on that. But the only thing would be I would have done medicine and been a medical doctor. Of course, having done dentistry first and then medicine, I had lots of experience going back into university. So I thoroughly enjoyed what I didn't do in the first time. So there you go. Second chances have come at a time when I wasn't even thinking about it. So, so I've just gone with the flow and enjoyed it as it has come, and I've never been limited again by thinking, oh my God, done dentistry. How can I go back and re-qualify? For me, if it feels right, I have to do it. And the reason I couldn't stick to dentistry is because it didn't feel right. Medicine, it was a very easy choice. I was 31 when I started medicine. We had just got married, 2 years into having been married. Medicine wasn't a hard choice at all. Medicine to me is my calling, but it's my passion, and they are not the same. So what medicine brings to me is what I can give out to the community, to the society, without expecting anything in return, right? I cannot expect a non-medic to do what I am doing. So I know my role, I know his role. Dance, on the other hand, is a passion, so I don't have to justify it to anybody. And I can be my free will. So I wouldn't as a profession. I wouldn't teach. I wouldn't teach because of the onus. We've seen our teachers. We've been blessed with brilliant teachers.
Definitely.
And I don't think I can fit into that frame.
True.
So yes, I would. So two things that I would have changed. I would have been a medic from the start, but it hasn't worked out too badly. But definitely, I would have taken dance up earlier. Not at 5 or 6, because at that time you're dependent on parents, and we were moving, we were abroad, and all of that. But instead of 30, I would have started it at least 24, 25, maybe. Yeah. So
I don't think you've lost anything.